It is worth mentioning that this was a bold step towards meeting the demands of a modern defense force which constantly changes to keep its relevance in the global defense community. Many nations around the world have for years already used this concept in their countries. South Africa is, however, not new to this idea, which initially stuck its head out about 15 years ago. Just over a week ago, South Africans went to the polls to cast their votes to ensure that tomorrow becomes a better day than yesterday. I also did so, but I will not tell you for which vote, for which party, but I exercise my democratic rights. As we give effect to the ruling party's campaign slogan, quote, "Together we move South Africa forward," unquote, it is important to embrace the progressive changes that come with the evolution of man. Naysayers from some quarters of society have asked the question, why a military ombud? Others have been quoted as saying that we are nothing but a toothless tiger, basically suggesting that we have no relevance in society and that we are merely a nice to have. Discuss the challenges that we have experienced thus far. Mark the second anniversary of the military ombud and engage the media to bolster our awareness-raising efforts. In the same vein, we have invited some subject experts who will lead us in presentation and discussion around our theme, which is fairness, independence, and trust, building high-performance trust teams. These members will be introduced as they come to the podium. I have, sadly, to take this opportunity, I must take this opportunity to apologize for the absence of one of the presenters. As you can see on the program, we invited the Office of the Public Protector to come and present on independence. We will not have a speaker from that office. We will not have Advocate Madonsela today. We have asked members, especially the first speaker, if he has time, to just start us off, to discuss independence. Because to us, this is a challenge. And our people, when we visit units, ask us this question: how can you say you are independent when you get funds from the department? How can you say you are independent when you report to the Minister of Defense and Military Veterans. So some of the issues, discussions will help us to unpack those issues, but members will understand that this comes from Parliament. We are not members of Parliament. We can research and present through the Minister to Parliament. Members of Parliament will take decisions. But we invited some academics, professors in this, for this occasion, many advocates for this occasion to come and engage with us so that we can be properly informed. So feel free, relax, and discuss and guide the discussions on these topics. I trust that you will enjoy the day with us and invite you to participate, contribute meaningfully in the debates that will ensue. Thank you, Program Director.
Now let's get to the independence of the military ombud. Now Section 8 of the Act makes provision for the independence and impartiality of the office of the ombud. In terms of Section 8 of the ombud, the ombud and the staff must serve independently and impartially and must perform their function in good faith and without fear or favor, bias, or prejudice, subject to the Constitution and the law. And now anyone who says that you don't have constitutional independence haven't read this section properly, because it says you must act independently, subject to the Constitution and the law. But then it then proceeds and says the minister is required to afford the independent such assistance as may reasonably be required for the protection of the independence, impartiality, and dignity of the ombudsman. Now, questions around this have arisen in other institutions. It has arisen with respect to the NPA, of which I am a part. People often raise the question whether the NPA is independent. There's no question about that. The courts have said that it is independent. But as I've said, it is how you yourself behave, you see. Now, look at the interesting thing, which is not in the NPA Act, by the way. The interesting thing with the military, with Section 8, it says the minister is required to afford such assistance as may reasonably be required for the protection of the independence, impartiality, and dignity of the ombudsman. It's there in the Act. It's not in our Act. So if we go to the minister and say, Minister, can you protect us? He may very well say, well, look, it's not there in my Act. But with you can go to the minister and say, well, Minister, please afford us the protection that is reasonably required.
Even before there was aggressive popularization or publicization of this institution within the defense community, the volume of work that has been coming forward has really been impressive. A development which raises another related question, now that we're talking 2 years down the line. Is this institution sufficiently resourced to live up to the volume of work that is expected to deal with? It is one of the evaluations, in my view, that must be done by us if we want to see the future of our Office of the Ombud being bright and appreciated and adding value in the entire value chain of our defense function. There are questions that were posed during our discussion this morning. And I found them very interesting questions that are going to stay with us for some time. Because clearly there are no outright easy questions to them. I was listening to what the professor was saying to us, fairness, entails, and trying to think of the provisions in the legislation itself with respect to the jurisdiction of the Office of the Ombud, with respect to the independence of the Office of the Ombud. There is a lot of dialogue that we must have in order to find answers to some of these questions, in my view.